NBA here on 2K Sports. The weekend of hoops continues. It's the San Antonio Spurs going up against the Miami Heat. And that'll do it from the studio. Let's get you out to Kevin Harlan and the rest of the 2K Sports broadcast crew at the arena. I'll see you back here at halftime.
Yeah. It's been a ride.
I'm gonna be what I set out to be without.
We're here in Miami, Florida, and a look here at the downtown against the sunset. Just absolutely beautiful. Hello and welcome, everyone, to another exciting edition of the NBA on 2K Sports. Joined in the booth with Clark Kellogg and Steve Kerr. This is Kevin Harlan. A quick check now at the starting lineups for both teams. First for the Spurs, Parker and Danny Green are your 1 and your 2. And in the middle, out of Brazil, taken with the 28th pick back in 2008, the 6'11" pivot man, Thiago Splitter. Then there's Kawhi Leonard, and it's Duncan in at the 4. And for Miami, Chalmers and D. Wade are the guards. And playing at the 5, the always versatile 6'11" star big man, able to score inside and out, Chris Bosh. And it's LeBron James, and it's Haslam in at the 4 spot.
You know, the Spurs really have a cohesive culture, and part of that is something that Greg Popovich has been able to do, and that's being able to join guys together that normally might not hang out. For instance, you had Matt Bonner taking Steven Jackson out to a Coldplay concert last season. One way to help guys get to know each other off the court, and it helps them on the court.
And so the tip-off, it's Miami. Wade passes to LeBron. Wade outside. Shoots from the line. It's rebounded by Leonard. And back to Popovich and the Spurs, he really makes a point of getting to know his players. Have them get to know one another.
That's right, Kevin. He likes to have his players have a sense of perspective about the world. He wants them to know that there are other things going on besides the NBA. In fact, back in 2012, he had the players watching the presidential debates together.
Now, here's Chalmers after the miss from Tim Duncan. And out of bounds as the Spurs gain possession. Here's Parker.
You know what I love about Tim Duncan is that early in his career, he was so dominant on the block at both ends of the floor. And as his career has gone on and he's taken on a little bit lesser role with the Spurs, it's never bothered him. He's just accepted whatever role Greg Popovich asked of him. And now he's still a very effective player, but the Spurs have become more of a perimeter type team, and that's just fine with him.
Chalmers dishes to Wade. No good. Now San Antonio takes it the other way. Steve, you're talking about Tim Duncan accepting a changing role as time goes on. And, you know, what can be a challenge, you think, Clark, for a guy like that when he has to grow into different positions over the course of his career?
Well, for Tim Duncan, I don't think it was hard at all because it's all about winning for him. It's not about the numbers as long as he contributes to winning, and that makes him happy. So he adjusted, but it wasn't a big deal for him.
Wade working against Green. The turnaround Jay. Miami no good on that time either. For San Antonio, they've gone 1 of 3 from the field to start this one so far. Parker drives in. Pass to Leonard. And down it goes, jamming that one home.
Tell you what, this is some serious showmanship here. Loving that tomahawk.
Clark, he came with force, and that's not just getting 2 points. He was sending a message.
Making a statement.
You know, that can be a momentum shifter. The energy, you see the guys on the bench get pumped up, really gets everybody on your team rolling.
Here's LeBron after the basket by San Antonio. And Chalmers kicks to Bosch. Dishes to Chalmers. 6 on the shot clock. Takes the 3. And the rebound goes to Duncan.
Still looking for that first 2. 0 of 4 now.
Let's find out what Doris Burke has for us.
Kevin, thank you. I caught up with Eric Spoelstra. I asked him what they needed to key in on defensively, and he said, well, we've got to limit penetration by Tony Parker. He's really the, quote, head of the snake, and with his floater, he doesn't need to get all the way to the rim to score. It's crucial that we do our best to keep him outside the lane. Guys, that's no easy assignment. We'll see how much success they have defensively.
Thanks again, Doris. And that one's good.
Well, Kevin, he's got such a great focus as a shooter. And he's a very frustrating player to guard because unless you actually block his shot, you are not going to get in his head and affect him.
And he's also one of those guys who just seems to be able to take it up a few notches when there's a game to be won late in the fourth quarter. In other words, he's at his best at winning time.
Such a difficult shot to defend, that turnaround. Well, what a series it was in the finals a year ago. Such great basketball, 2 teams that like to play up-tempo. And I'll tell you, the Spurs had Miami. They had the series in the bag. They were 1 play away from wrapping it up in Game 6, but the miracle comeback from the Heat that led to the Game 7 victory and another title for the Miami Heat.
It's stolen by Duncan. .157 left to play in the first quarter. Plenty of daylight on that shot. We've got 1:48 left in the first quarter. Clark, it was interesting because the games themselves weren't particularly close through the first half of the series, but things started to get really tight when they left San Antonio after Game 5.
How about that, Kevin? You talk about things tightening up. We had a game for the ages in Game 6. 28.6 seconds to go. The Spurs +5. Miami needed a miracle, and they found it in the form of timely three-point shooting and got some help from the San Antonio Spurs missing some free throws.
The Game 6 was about as intense an NBA game as you'll ever see.
Oh, it was off the chart. Absolutely fantastic.
San Antonio making a switch here. Matt Bonner, he's checked in for Splitter. Diaw comes in for Tim Duncan. Manu Ginobili, he's checked in for Kawhi Leonard. And it's Bellinelli in for Daniel Green. Here's Cole. Back to LeBron. Just 5 on the clock. Anderson passes to LeBron. Rebound, San Antonio. Ginobili dishes to Bellinelli. The pass to Bonner. He feeds it to Parker. Passes it to Ginobili. Off target from three-point range. The Heat trailed by 6. Allen drives in. Feeds it to LeBron. The teardrop falls in.
That is an elegant move to drop in the floater there, guys.
San Antonio's gone 0 of 2 from deep here. There's 18 seconds left here in the opening quarter. And the rejection by LeBron. And Parker, here we go. It's stolen. Here's Cole. 1 second left. There's the bucket. Good.
He's definitely got that shot in his arsenal.
At the end of 1, a closely contested game so far. Spurs lead by 2. And we'll be back with you for the start of the second quarter when we return. And the second quarter getting underway. No team gaining an edge so far. Guys, what's your take on the Spurs so far?
Yeah, the defense has been terrific. They came out right from the beginning, alert and focused. And they've been really good at that end of the floor.
And I think coach has to be pleased with the effort, Steve.
San Antonio leading. Parker outside. Ginobili sends a screen for Parker. That's a 2 from Bellinelli. And misses it off the right side of the rim.
LeBron does a bunch of things that'll make your jaw drop in the course of a season, but one that stood out to me last season is a bit of an odd one. For 6 straight games, he didn't commit a foul. Incredible.
Now here's LeBron. And Anderson kicks to LeBron. 5 to shoot. And out of bounds as the Spurs gain possession.
Man, I don't know what happened right there. He just basically walked out of bounds.
And San Antonio has possession. And Clark, you talked about that stat for LeBron, avoiding fouls. Steve, he's really become an elite defender.
He sure has. All defensive first team 5 seasons in a row, and second in the voting last year for Defensive Player of the Year. He's just so strong and quick on his feet, and he's a very smart defender as well, always in position.
He was ticked off last season. He was not the Defensive Player of the Year.
He said he wanted that more than he wanted the MVP.
Let's go now to the sideline and catch up with Doris Burke. Hey, Doris.
Well, as you know, gentlemen, Greg Popovich is one of the foremost practitioners of the intentional fouling that sends poor free throw shooters to the line. Not exactly a fan favorite, and Pop says, quote, I think it's ugly. I think it's awful, but it's legal. It's there. If somebody doesn't want to get hacked, they should shoot free throws better. Guys, he's all about winning. Whether it's pretty or ugly, he doesn't care.
They wear you down, Doris. Thank you so much. Chris Bosch is checked in for Chris Anderson. Just over a minute gone here in the second quarter.
Well, I think this is one of the more amazing stats in sports when you think about it. No matter the season or the roster, the Spurs just seem to find ways to win 50 games. They've done it 14 straight seasons now, which is off the charts.
Here's Cole. Fades away. That's good.
And a pleasure to watch him work at that end of the floor.
The Spurs have gone 1 of 3 to start out the second quarter. And Bellinelli kicks to Diaw. Puts the lead pass in front of him. Parker's shot is off. And Clark, as you said, the Spurs last season hitting 50 wins for the 14th consecutive season. By the way, that's an NBA record. Second closest were the Lakers with 12 straight, Steve, from 79 to 91.
Yeah, 58 wins last season for San Antonio. Greg Popovich calls it corporate knowledge, just the consistency that comes with the experience of the group. And they've been together so long, particularly that core, that I think it allows the Spurs to really kind of cruise at times during the regular season. Well, probably the right play defensively. If you can't get the block, send them to the free throw line. Don't give them an easy 2.
No easy buckets inside. Force free throws and work to keep them out of the lane next time around.
First free throw is good.
You know, part of being a championship team is having the talent first and foremost, but then managing the minutes of that talent. The Heat, I thought, did a nice job monitoring the minutes of the big 3 throughout the season and playoffs last year.
Here's what San Antonio's going with right now. Splitters checked in for Matt Bonner. Duncan comes in for Boris Diaw. And Kawhi Leonard subbed in for Manu Ginobili. So he gets them both. As you said, Clark, the big 3 in their prime, but really, you want them to just get their work in during the season, not exhaust themselves before they make it to the playoffs.
I thought, Kevin, along those lines, I thought by the end of last season, Miami was exhausted. And once you try to win a 3rd title in a row, the emotional fatigue and exhaustion really becomes a factor. So this is going to be interesting to watch all year.
No good from Wade.
Usually if he gets to the rim, he's converting it into points. But the defense stood tall there.
Duncan, the pass to Parker. Gets it to go. The Heat trailed by 6.
I tell you, Tim Duncan turned back the clock last season, didn't he? One of his best in years, and one of his best seasons ever when it comes to blocking shots. For a guy who doesn't get a whole lot of elevation, it's his timing that allows him to be a shot blocker without bouncing real high.
Now here's Allen. He's had some playing time, but no scoring yet from him. Leonard with the steal. feet away. No good off the back of the rim. You know, back to Duncan, Steve, you could make a credible argument that with the exception of Larry Bird, no player in NBA history has been more successful while blessed with fewer hops. I mean, I don't know if you'd say he's athletic.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, he's not real athletic, but, man, the skill, the savvy, just the incredible knowledge of the game. One of the great players of all time.
Just such a pro.
Yeah.
Just such a pro. Now, Green, after the missed three from Chalmers. Outside Leonard. The dish to Parker. Clock at 6. 2 minutes. They grabbed their own miss. Splitter, that's good.
Well, if they didn't look at the scoreboard, you'd think they were the team trailing and trying to fight their way back.
Yeah, I like the energy they're playing with here, Steve. I mean, a nice uptick in their second chance points.
And a chance here to catch up with the fourth member of our crew, Doris Burke. Hi, Doris.
Thank you, Kevin. Tony Parker and teammate Boris Diaw have known each other since high school back in France. Boris says of Tony, quote, he's a point guard who can do it all. He can be an organizer and make the team play. Other times, he's going to be a scoring point guard. It's pretty rare to have both. And guys, Coach Popovich talks about how Parker's decision-making has matured as far as reading when to pass and when to score. He's found a great balance as the years have gone on, guys.
He can do it all, Doris. Pass, shoot, a special talent. Spurs leading by 6.
Well, I tell you what, Greg Popovich, a really impressive leader for the Spurs. He's able to keep all of his players locked into what's best for the team. Has a military background, played basketball and studied at the Air Force Academy before serving 5 years in the Air Force. And you know some of the leadership that he brings to his position was learned from his past experiences.
Here's Wade following the score by Tony Parker. Wade gets a screen from Haslam. Green against Wade. And the foul on Dwayne Wade. That's his first foul. And Clark, you mentioned Pop's time at the Air Force Academy. That's how he got his start in the coaching ranks.
Yeah, 6 years as an assistant there. He was head coach at Pomona, an assistant coach with the Golden State Warriors and the Spurs, and eventually moved into the front office in San Antonio. But wow, what an amazing run it's been for him. 17 years as the head coach of the Spurs.
Here is Splitter. They lead by 8. That's the biggest of the game. Backing him down is Duncan. Cans the shot from the wing. Duncan's got his second bucket of the game to go. The Heat have gone 2 of 5 from the field here in the second quarter, shooting 40%. We've got a 9-second difference between the shot clock and the game clock. Wade outside. Pass to Chalmers. Haslam, a screen on Parker. Shot clock at 5. Adier cannot hit. Now here's Parker. He's got 8. He dishes it to Duncan. Launches a 3. Can't get it to go. And that does it for the first half of play. It's San Antonio up by 10. Folks, stay tuned for the halftime show at Damon Bruce for all the highlights from our first half.